Hey everyone, this is a bit of a later starting deal than I planned on by maybe about 4 minutes, but okay, maybe 6 minutes. But here I am, here we are, here you are, and you watched the San Antonio Spurs tie the Houston Rockets for their leg of the Western Conference semifinals battles that will eventually pit the loser of this series against the wrath of the Golden State Warriors. But that is only one thing I want to talk with you about tonight. I'm going to now go to the live stream and fire up the hey, go Cubs, how are you? And fire up the meta tags for what promises to be an interesting conversation and night. And how you doing, the Raiders? The Raiders? The greatness of the Raiders. Hey, Zinsters. Hey, Mark. John, Marks. Is that right? The King is in the building. The Kings are in the building. How y'all doing? The Kings are in the building, I should say. I like that. The Kings are in the building. Not just the King is in the building. As Kanye would say. Tell me how you're feeling. I say the King is in the building. Now you the man. Now you the king. You the man. You the man. I'm not the man. You all the men and the women. We need more of the women there, as I say, the women's. Who said the women's? Somebody in my childhood. The stream health is good. I'm very well, thank you, John. How are you doing? And Joseph, thank you very much. Mr. Guidry, welcome, sir. And view on the watch page and see where we're at. Let's see, we have, let's see. Someone would chime in and thumbs down. Why, I don't know. But that was really, me too. But, you know, it's interesting. You have these people that they don't really say who they are, but they just want to thumb down and hate things for whatever reason. And, well, if that makes them feel good, you know what? I'm going to give them something to really thumb down about, I think. If not now, then later. But let's see here. We've got Steve Macy. How are you? And we just don't have Barry Lee. That's right. Haters gonna hate. Be the club in the CA. Haters gonna hate. Crawford, how are you? Melvin Lovejoy, how are you, sir? Where's Barry Lee? Where is Barry Lee? Joseph Jones says, "Them, you got it. You took the words right out of my mouth, Mr. Jones." John Davis, how you doing, sir? You know what? We get Ellis. How y'all doing? Gosh, this is cool. This is like the Knights of the Round Table, and this is cool. I like this. This is awesome. That's right. The Zinni train, the happiest trip in America. I like that. I got an idea here. I'm gonna do the idea later, folks. I know you're gonna want to wonder, or excuse me, I know you're wondering what is up with the title I presented to you. Okay, now, do all of you remember how? Marcus Allen? How Marcus Allen was involved in the Ronnie Lott effort, right? John Marks, I like that. Remember that? If you don't remember it, I have something I want to show you real quick here, and I'm going to move this to one side. Or does anyone not remember that? John, yeah, he was. Yes, Brian Guidry, he was. In fact, I will show you this interview that I did with Mr. Allen after his great speech before the Alameda County Board of Supervisors. And Doretta says, "I'm tired of all this Vegas support. It's killing the fun up on me receiving season tickets. Yeesh." Well, if you think that right now, check this out. Hey, at least you tweeted her. That's thank you, Steve. At least you tweeted her. Now, folks, I want to show you this this is the grand and glorious Marcus Allen. Oh, you know what? Hold up. I forgot to do one thing. got to put this on social media real quick to grow the audience. So let me go back to the watch page for one moment, and don't bear with me for a second, folks. I was so excited to show you this sequence that I got off my game a little bit. So one moment, please. Let's see here. Just want to make absolutely certain. John Marks, you know what? I'm not going to say that, but here's the thing. I want you all to be the judge for what you're about to see. How's that sound? Okay? I know that's a little coy. No, excuse me. It's a lot coy. I get it. But after you see, you'll figure it out. I have the greatest respect for Marcus Allen as a Raider. I really do. But I do feel that this needs to be reported, okay? And yeah. So right now I'm putting this. You're curious, boy. I'm dying to see you guys' reaction. You have no idea how interested in seeing your reaction I am. Because well, you'll see. It's something where you'll just say, well, I don't know what you're going to say. I know you're going to say something, okay? I don't know precisely what it's going to be, but I know you're going to say something. But right now I'm putting this on the Twitter page. It's already out there. And then the Facebook page. Post to Facebook. And then I'll say a hashtag NFL. Yep. You're on the edge of your seat. And you will be pleasantly rewarded. Or unpleasantly rewarded, depending on how you take what I'm about to show you. And I know you're saying, get to the doggone things, innit? Get to the doggone things, innit? Alright. Now that I've done this proper social media work, I can go back to what I was going to do. And now, I've got that centered, and I can bring you down here to see Mr. Allen in all of his glory. This was after his great speech on December 14th at the Alameda County Board of Supervisors, okay, right here. He gave a great impassioned speech about keeping the Raiders in Oakland, okay? So this is our discussion, a brief discussion afterward right here, okay?
I just want to say thank you so much. It's really wonderful to see you up there. And hopefully we'll make this. Yeah, hopefully we'll make this. Mr. Allen, what do you think?
Oh, I'm excited. It's the first step. Thank you so much. And I think what it illustrated today was the passion of so many people. I listened to person after person come up and really say how much the Raiders mean to the city. And
It's a great speech.
well, thank you. It's
For a guy who went to USC and that talent wasn't bad. I gotta give it to you.
we appreciate it. Right now I'm hungry. I'm gonna get some food.
There you go. Congratulations.
Okay, so basically that was Marcus Allen, and all smiles and support of the Raiders being in Oakland, right? So we got that out of the way. Now look at what was posted just about a week ago. And I want you to, as they say, that is Holly Robinson in the background. Now, hold on to your butts, folks. This is to a person in Las Vegas. I'll give out her name and YouTube channel right after this. But without any further ado, here is Marcus Allen. Right here.
And lastly, being here in Las Vegas, we just got the Raiders. You're a former Raider. I have to know, what are your thoughts?
Well, I build it and they will come. I believe it. So I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be great. I think it'll be interesting to see it all unfold and how it all takes place. But I think it's going to be fantastic.
Will you come to support them?
Of course, I'm going to come to the game.
Okay, so ta-da! Now that was from, and I'll show you YouTube channel. That's from Helen. Excuse me. That was from Helen Yee. Let me go back here. All right. That's Helen Yee Sports NBC Sports Radio, okay? That's Helen Yee Sports on YouTube. So, Helen Yee Sports on
here
YouTube.
with Eyes on the
Helen
Game,
Yee,
and I'm here being joined by.
and I might add the very attractive Helen Yee. So, I guess Marcus felt like he was very mesmerized by her eyes. I don't know. But the bottom line is, you heard it, folks, right there. And I will now position this. And Stephen Collins has so far the most interesting take of the evening. But there you go, folks. Marcus Allen. Okay, reaction. Rich says he has no issue with what he said. John Marks says turncoat. ML Scott says hello troops. Hey, how you doing, ML? Rick Rice says I ain't mad. What's he supposed to say? And Brian Guidry says sounds like the Lot Group is responsible with $77 million land buy in Las Vegas. Oh my gosh. Ellis Conway says he probably wants a job. Vito and Cal says I'm not surprised he flip-flopped on this. Why? Steve Macy says he never was an Oakland Raider. Ooh. I thought about that. Now, Octavio says he's playing the violin. Interesting. Johnny M says Boss Man tried telling you all about Allen. Yes, he did. And, I'd love to have Boss Man on here to talk about him in words that I am not comfortable repeating because of my personality. But I will say that I'll say this, okay? When I first saw it, my first reaction was, gee, it only got 257 views? And I guess because Helen Yee doesn't have a large subscriber base, and because of the way it was titled, it went over everyone's head, right? It was, for anyone who bothered to see it. Plus, Google has a tendency to de-emphasize all caps titles in any post in particular. So there are a number of reasons that wasn't seen. At any rate, some of you said, let's see, Patrick says, I think Marcus is thinking more Vegas than Oakland. And then Ellis Conway says, still salty over Bo Jackson. And interesting, Steve says, real men stick to their guns. He's playing both sides of the fence. And Video Cube says, Steve Macy, I remember Marcus mentioning that on 30 for 30, Ice Cube did about the Raiders in L.A. And Go Cubs says, hey, Zinni, that is a surprise. And also, I've been so much into all the NFL news, like 70% of my time. I talk so much NFL news. Do you think I should be a part of the media for NFL news? I will say this. Anyone is a news person today, okay? The only thing that separates you from me or anybody else is effort. And I like, for example, I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but I'll say real quick, I started all this. This is all a dream. This is all based on wanting to be there, a touchstone, okay? But I digress. Now, I don't think, let's see here. John Davis says, I don't think he took sides in either video. In other words, you were saying he was basically down the middle. Octavio says Marcus wanted the Raiders in L.A. And Crawford says Marcus is Team Mark. He is still bitter toward Al. And it's interesting. Miguel Rose says, can you please get me up to speed on what is happening here with Marcus Allen on the live stream? Yeah, Miguel, what happened was that last year, and Marcus Allen was part of the Ronnie Lott group to keep the Raiders in Oakland and made all the appropriate statements. But on the 21st of April, on Helen Yee's show out of Las Vegas for some type of fundraiser, Marcus Allen made all the nicey smile comments about Las Vegas Raiders. But what he didn't say, and that's okay? But he could have said something like this. I really would help Ronnie Lott try to keep the Raiders in Oakland, but it looks like right now we lost that battle. I wish the Raiders well here. I feel they're an Oakland team, and I feel for the Oakland fans. So right now I'm an Oakland Raider, and I'm gonna have to keep it right there. But I love Las Vegas, and I think the Raiders will be good in Las Vegas, something like that. But to just forget about Oakland, as if no one's gonna see that was bad. That was completely bad, and it just adds fuel to the fan fire that is already developed. You know what I mean? So that's what I think. And Patrick and says, I think Marcus isn't really into Oakland. He's a SoCal guy. Go Cubs says, hey, 528 Breakers, and that is a good question. Am I going to cover the Raiders in Vegas? I didn't cover the Raiders. Okay, you don't know this, but I gave my press credential back. And something else. I've been an NFL guy, and I started covering the NFL long before I asked for a Raider press credential. I've had one before, okay, when I was with the Montclarian. But this whole media company development was because I wanted to be at the NFL draft in New York. I wanted to be at the inauguration for Barack Obama. I wanted to be at the places I saw on television. I wanted to be there. And the best way to be there with social media and tech is to start your own company and do the work of reporting it, and then create this distribution system. So I gave my credential back 2 years ago because I was at the Arizona 2015. It was the Arizona preseason game, and I wrote the NFL Raiders great PR guy Will Kiss a coverage plan, which is what you're going to look at and why, right? And my objective, was to set the record for YouTube uploads at an NFL game. And I made that quite clear. That was my first objective. The second objective was to analyze the new Raider offense then as designed by Bill Musgrave, because Mr. Coach Musgrave was intending on installing elements of Chip Kelly's offense in the Raider offense. And I wanted to capture all that. So I posted, right? And then about a day later, Will called me and was yelling about how I violated an NFL rule. And I said, actually, it wasn't this rule I violated, but here's the other one in question. And so we got forgot Tom's last name at the NFL involved, and said they were going to go out to legal. So I reached out to legal ahead of them because I know Jeff Pash, the head of NFL legal and part of much of his staff. And I said to him, hey, I showed them everything that I did, and NFL legal stepped in and said, this is a misunderstanding because Zinni was straight with you. And Will said, I'm going to have to figure out what to do with you. And I said, no, you know what? Just keep the credential. And for this reason, in the press box, all the press people do is play on Twitter. Okay? But when I'm outside the press box, I'm talking to the people. You can see a number of my videos where I'm interviewing fans. I'm outside, and I love it. I love connecting that way. So I thought, why do I need a credential? This is more fun. So there you go. Now, will I do that in Vegas? No. I just, a lot's going to change. I want to grow this into other people and everything else. But I am really not of the opinion this thing's going to happen in Vegas. Still, I'm sorry. I'm still not seeing it. It's not because I refuse. I just don't see it working. Sorry, I just don't. Anyway, let's see here. Yeah, and we are the Oakland Raiders, period. And Maniac says, people who are not from Oakland just don't understand how much this hurts. Thank you. And the people that kept saying it don't matter when they play are some people who don't live here. Not only that, Maniac, and I'm glad you made that point. No, I won't. 528, and here's why. Because 528 Breakers, you don't know how painful it is to fight for a city like Oakland for it to get the Super Bowl and then lose, and then prior to that see the Raiders leave and everything else. I've been through this basically 3 times. So I don't have that. And besides, I have other obligations, which is why I'm here. I got to build this business and into what I know it can be, and get investors and revenue and everything else. So no, that's my priority right now. Now, let's see here. Rich Gadden says 20,000 traveling weekly tourists from LA to Oakland, Las Vegas will never ever work. Your name, what did the Raiders ever do for plan in Oakland? They did nothing. Actually, that's not true. I'm sorry, Steve Collins, you're right. The Raiders didn't do anything in Oakland. You're right. I was thinking about the reverse of what you said, which is the common refrain. You're right. Okay. Maniac. What did Maniac say? This is going by so fast. Wait a minute. Octavio, how you doing? Octavio says, let's just get a couple of Super Bowls now and then worry about Vegas. I just don't see it working. Crawford said it best. Injunction. Eminent domain. That's it. Thank you. 528 Breakers. I respect that, but I love the Raiders. And look, we all love the Raiders, but we also love Oakland and how the Raiders were established and fit and were essentially created by Oakland. The image of the Oakland Raiders. Let me ask you this: will the Oakland Raiders be the Oakland Raiders in Las Vegas? What with nosebleed ticket prices and all these other prices? I mean, will they be that? You know what I think? I think the answer is no, and I'll tell you why I say that. I'll tell you why I say that. Because for the first time in Raider history, they're going to be surrounded. If this thing gets that far, they're going to be surrounded by neighborhoods with condos sky high, hotel prices sky high, everything jacked up. You pay through the nose if you can afford to do so, or you hawk your car. Is that they're going to be a luxury brand? The silver and the black will be different. They'll be the Niners. They'll be what you hate. They'll be the Niners. That's exactly what they'll be. They won't that grit and spit and all that. That'll be gone. And Go Cubs says, I really feel bad for Oakland because they lost their team. Your streams are awesome. Thank you. And seeing your streams is so inspirational for me to get into media. Thank you, Go Cubs. Appreciate that. Hey, if you want to vlog, let me know. Can always use help. Brian Guidry says, can the league force them to change colors and name? As a settlement, I think that they could. That could happen. But it would take the city and the fans working together to move forward on that. I am of the opinion that eminent domain is a better way to go because the California Supreme Court, as I've said before and on infinitum, gave Oakland the green light to succeed in that area. Now, John Marks says the Raiders are 49ers now. 528 Breakers says, love Oakland too, and no, it won't be the same, but they need a new stadium. Yeah, they could have had a real new stadium in Oakland. I don't get this assumption or this idea that new stadiums can only be built someplace else. I know part of the reason for this psychological situation is that Oakland hasn't come up with a plan of its own where you can see the stadium. Just that overlay, that overview, right? But in terms of the actual stadium design, we fell flat. That's the problem. The only person that's come up with a design for the stadium itself is that stick figure I drew. All right. Yeah, Vegas, let's see. Maniac says, yeah, Vegas did make it happen. And Maniac says this in caps, but it's a bad deal. Politicians are in office to repair the roads, make the city better, not raise taxes for a millionaire. That's right. Or a billionaire. Hey, let's see here. Rats. Oh, my rats was I was trying to get a certain high-powered sports agent on, but he passed on me. Not Lee Steinberg, but nonetheless, I quite appreciate this person. At any rate, Enrique Fuentes, do you think the Raider games in Vegas will be more for grown-ups? They'll be priced in that way. And I don't understand what you mean when you say that, because they're grown-ups in Oakland, so I can't understand that one. Jermaine Somerville, a new stadium in Oakland wouldn't have created a luxury brand. No, it wouldn't have. In fact, Jermaine, I want you to go to Google, all right? And I want you to type in Google Coliseum City Reboot or Oakland Coliseum Reboot, and you'll find my web page that I specially designed to present the stadium idea. And under my plan, I had sized it so that the PSLs were only going to cost $2,000 average, among the lowest in the National Football League. Okay? And I deliberately worked, thanks to the, I call it fiscal magic of industrial development bonds and a 40-year bond issue, to make it so that the average fan could go to games at the new stadium. That was an objective. So it doesn't have to be the way that you're talking about. The answer is no. Not at all. Sorry. Let's see here. Joseph says he probably meant family friendly. Let's find out. Hey, Jason, how are you, Mr. Tarver? Jason says the Raider games in Vegas will look like football games. The USC people just sit there to say they were there and start staring at their phones. Yep. And Stephen Collins says, VW, you're right. I have to take a look at that. Patrick, how are you doing? Mr. Blankman Patrick says, hey, Zenny, maybe Oakland should start building now in Oakland. I agree. Best Vegas stadium we built in 2020 or 2021. We have to beat them to the punch by taking a risk. I like that, and I completely agree with you. Octavia Arias says, but fans are getting priced out nationwide. Look at Atlanta. I've said that last night. I'll say it again. Atlanta is really setting a great standard for affordability in a new stadium. Jason Tarver says, hey, sir, missed a few blogs. Oh, yeah, I didn't see you a while, man. Enrique says, that's what I meant, family friendly. Oh, I think it would have been family friendly in Oakland. And if you've ever been to the East Side Club, where the club's just friendly, and it's friendly all over. I've never had a bad time or there seen anyone have a bad time. I've heard stories. But look, I've seen like, for example, Kim Kardashian walking through. I gotta find that video I thought I had with Kim in the Coliseum. Maybe I never posted that. But Kim Kardashian walked through, and I saw the Mark, what's his name, the comedian from Oakland that had the show for a while. I can get on. John Mark says, we need to get Larry Ellison to build in Oakland. Yes, Jason, let's see, Rich Gilton, is it Guyton? Rich Guyton says, Las Vegas doesn't support UNLV football. How are they going to support the Raiders? This plan will crash and burn badly. Agreed. Completely. Crawford 371, Oakland needs to create a sports and entertainment district like Detroit is doing. Yes. Mark Curry, Jason. Thank you, Mark Curry, Jason Tarver. Yeah, and I have interviewed him. Go Cubs says the new stadium in Atlanta is cheap for the food. I really like it. Yes. John Mark says, I hope so, Rich Gilton. V-Dub says, are you referring to Mark Curry? Yes, I am. Thank you for both very much. Patrick says, I'm from the Bronx, New York. I live in Atlanta. Hey, you're down here. The stadium is being built fast. Arthur Blank wasn't playing around. No, he wasn't. And wow, didn't he treat the community properly when all was said and done? It looked like for a time he was going to be a bit of a, inappropriate about it, a little rough with the community, and then he came around thanks to the stewardship of Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed, who really gets things done. I really am a big Mayor Reed fan down here in Atlanta. Now, let's see. The Raiders says people in Vegas will end up going broke trying to support the Raiders on that paying budget if they try at all. Rick Rice says, I hope they're going to put slot machines in the bathroom stall so you can keep playing while you're taking it top. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. John Mark says, Mark Curry is Mr. Cooper. That is hilarious. Octavia says, the only time at the Coliseum a fight broke out behind my wife was when I was buying a soda. Oh my gosh. I've never seen a fight break out in the West Side Club, never want to, or East Side. Yeah, I consider myself quite fortunate there. There was one guy, however, he was a Broncos guy, he was drunk, he was taunting people, and the Alameda County Sheriffs came up and basically said, hey guy, I put him on video, because I was gonna put the guy on blast, because I have him twice, and they told the guy to cool it, but I was very happy to put that guy on blast. At any rate, let's see here. 520 Breaker says Oakland, LA, Vegas, and Nation will support the stadium. Big percentage of season ticket holders come from LA now. What percentage? What percentage? Patrick says they dealt with community churches, etc. Mark Maniac says Mark is a millionaire trying to join the Billionaires Club. Yes. Crawford 371 says Mark Curry and Holly Robinson Pete could get a movement going. Could. Jason Tarver says there will probably be slot machines all over the damn place. I think the NFL is going to frown on that, but what can they do, right? Well, they could sue. They could do a lot. Joseph Jones says Falcons owners appreciate the loyalty to fans where Mark Davis has no loyalty to fans. Casper says, hi Zinni. I'm assuming it takes at least a generation for a region to have a significant fan base for its local team. Do you foresee Vegas taking longer than a decade to get an organic local fan base if they get there? And the answer is yes, I do. Because the problem, here's the thing. It would take 15 years. The one fact about any NFL team is it does encourage people to visit that city and consider a move there, because you get about, by my estimation, $25 million of free marketing just by having it annually. just by having an NFL team, and that's not including the Super Bowl. Okay? Look at what the Warriors are doing just by playing in Oakland. How many times nationwide you hear Oakland, right? So, Bernard says, hey, Zinni, hope you're having a good night. I am. And Rich Guidance says, Zinni, C2 Volleyball. You said the Raiders would be 49ers in Las Vegas, but the problem is Las Vegas does not equal Silicon Valley disposable income in Bay Area. Rich, you're right, and I stand corrected. What do you think will be the telltale sign that Las Vegas deal blows up? Well, I think the one issue, as far as I cannot see them completing all these agreements without some type of political hiccup that stalls this beyond the September date. That issue with UNLV, where UNLV pays rent but the Raiders don't, that's a gigantic political issue. That's a huge political issue. And the only reason it doesn't look large is because you don't have the Las Vegas media talking about it. But it's sticking out there like a sore thumb. You have this community, you have this college, this university, that has only raised as much as $236 million in its history, being asked to pay rent and then raise $200 million by law. Whereas I believe it was Colorado State had the state pay $536 million for a stadium for it. It paid nothing. And that's talked about. So that's a gigantic issue. And then you've got the Raiders, who have been historically allergic to sharing revenue with municipalities and other sports teams like the A's, being, by Nevada law, thrust into a situation where they have to share revenue, basically, and share space with UNLV, as well as pay this gigantic loan debt to Bank of America that they haven't had before. So, and hey, then there's the relocation fee. So, that's a lot. That's a lot. Now, if I apologize for missing your comments because they go by at the rate of about maybe sometimes 2 a second. If you think about that, I mean, they go. So you want me to see something, you can pay $2 in super chat. It's cheap. You can buy coffee with it, but you get the idea. Now, Stephen Collins, the Raiders, you are 100% right. Oakland is the last of the old school game experiences. Yes, Casper says, by the way, Zinni, I'm really liking the new scenery. It does give a comfort feel, right? And I was, I like this better. It's more comfortable. I'm in a comfy chair. This was something I did because when I visit, I didn't want to take myself away and not keep my mom company and all that. So, I just figured, why not? I'll hang out here, can watch the basketball game, talk with her, and do this, and go and just make it a vlog, right? Why do I have to go upstairs and have this studio and all this jazz? I don't have a studio. I'm a vlogger. This is vlogging. Vlogging, this is for you, Go Cubs. Vlogging is about authenticity, okay? It's about being real, about your surroundings, about your emotion, about your presentation. That's what vlogging is all about. Now, but I digress. Mr. Deere says, 60 years of the NFL marketing the city of Oakland worldwide is worth whatever the hell Mark wanted city officials to free. I can't read that one. Barry Lee says, hey, Barry, how are you doing? He's here. Wait a minute. He's here. He's here. He's here. The Raiders. Steve, I respect these guys saying they'll support Raiders in Vegas, but the way they're speaking, I doubt they know the prices of tickets or hotel costs, the drive, airfare, all that, how all that will rise, let alone putting all that together. You're talking about, what, $2,000 a game? Woo! Steve is, hey, I'll see you, Steve. All right. Patrick M. Blackman. I wonder why Chase Bank didn't get in on the Raiders. Or what's going on with the Bank of America financing. Rick Rice says, I hate all these domes. The game is getting too soft. Wearing pink and blank, it makes me want to, whatever. The whole point is no animal stuff like that. But anyway, Crawford371 says, Spurs could be in trouble without Tony Parker. Yeah, what was the state of that injury? That was really weird. Go Cubs. John Mark says, why hasn't Wells Fargo Bank gotten involved with the Raiders in Oakland? Because they weren't asked. For example, I brought Piper Jaffray in 2015, and neither Oakland Mayor Libby Schaff nor Mark Davis followed up. And I gave them, quite literally on a platter, the people that did the Miller deal. All right. Now, Stephen Collins says, Zinni, why can't we look in the public records for land purchase? If it's an LLC, it also has public records including members. I did, Steve, and it came up dry. I got to call another source, but I did that. Miguel Rose, the Raiders do forget about the high relocation fee. I think he meant don't forget about the high relocation fee the Raiders have to pay the NFL in order to move out of Vegas. Ouch. Yes. Maniac says a lot's happening behind closed doors that we just don't know yet. That is true. Everyone is just caught up because it's Vegas, like B of A not announcing crap yet. Agreed. But something is happening. And here's the point. It's not hard to figure out what that something is. Okay? Bank of America is asking how the Raiders are going to pay back that amount, that debt. So they're looking at that lease. That's why the lease is incomplete. Because the Raiders have to figure out how to carve money out for B of A. If they bring in a developer, the developer's going to want their cut. So they're trying to figure out if this can really pencil out. They're not going to tell you that. But that is what is staring them in the face. You have to remember something. Bank of America was brought in at the 11th hour for more presentation. They didn't sit down, hastily run through the numbers and then do it, all right? Prior to that, Goldman came in and there was a scenario where they thought it might work. But then Goldman Sachs pulled out and didn't do it. And so, in number of ideas regarding, I think there was an idea the naming rights were going to be $25 million. Well, get this. How can you expect a $25 million per year naming rights deal when you look at the problem that the Las Vegas Golden Knights are having getting sponsors? And if you think the Las Vegas Golden Knights are having a problem getting sponsors, why is it going to be any easier for the Raiders in that area? Just asking. All right? Yeah, and the Raiders says, excuse me, and then Corvette says, hey, Corvette, how are you? Corvette says, there are a lot of people close to Tony Parker saying it's a torn ACL. Oh, my gosh. If it's a torn ACL, I'm not ready to say the Spurs are done. But it's going to be, if Greg Popovich manages to win the next game, one of the greatest coaching wins of his career. Miguel Rose, Jermaine Somerville, that's relocation fee that the Raiders will have to pay the NFL. Will still financially hurt them in the long run. That's true. The Raiders, and also, let's see here. Stephen Collins says, I'm with New Maniac. Barry Lee says, hi, Scott. Crawford371 says 20 if you add preseason games. True. Patrick M. Buchanan, it seems as if you can help the Raiders the best business-wise. You don't seem to ask much. Maybe Mark Davis thinks you're too good to be true. I don't know what he was thinking. But the whole point is you could have asked. And could have said, why don't you come to the office because I know I asked you to come up with a plan. So I want you to go over the plan with me with a fine-tooth comb. That would have been fantastic. Because, look, you get me in a room, I don't lose. But the problem is that no one ever got me into a room, except two people. Coliseum Joint Powers Authority head Scott McKibben and Oakland at-large councilman Rebecca Kaplan. They both came away saying, I crossed every T and dotted every I. Now, let's see. John Mark says, boycott B of A. Miguel Rose agrees. Octavio Arias says, where did the Raiders get $77 million to buy Russell Road land? That's the question of the day. That is why, and I see, I supine, although I can't prove, but I supine that Mr. Adelson and Las Vegas Sands perhaps fronted them some cash at some point last year, and maybe they're using that. I believe that is sticking out there as a huge possibility. Now, Mr. D says, really, Zinni, you compare a hockey team to the worldwide draw of the Raiders, naming rights, there's no comparison. Well, there is in the fact that they are in a weak market. Because, look, you can't tell me that neither the Raiders or the Golden Knights would do better financially in the Bay Area. We both know they will. Vegas is a different animal. And the problem with Vegas is that people get caught by the bright lights and glitter, and oh, by the way, don't forget about the FAA. But they get caught up with the bright lights and glitter, and they think, oh, there's more money in Vegas than anywhere else, and that's not true. People come to spend their money, but it doesn't mean that Vegas is rich because of that. All right, just saying. Now, Miguel Rose says, Zinni, the whole. Mark says he's boycotting Vegas. Ontario says 77 million. Yes. VW says, didn't Adelson pull out of this deal for a while? He did as a public face, but how do you know what's going on behind the scenes? I mean, if we take Maniac's statement, where we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, right? And we don't, how do we know that Adelson is still involved? His own reporting deputies are too afraid to say that he is, and they know they'll get fired if they do. Okay? So how do we know? How can we find out? What do we do? Hire an investigator and have them snoop around the Venetian and see where Adelson goes? See who he keeps time with? Do we, scour the internet for clues? Yes. But we've got to investigate this. Is Sheldon Adelson behind the scenes pulling the strings? It's a question. Now, let's see here. Joseph Jones says, I find it funny that Mark Davis isn't willing to have another town hall meeting and face the fans in Oakland because he knows he lied about wanting to stay. And the NFL did that, and he came along. Maniac says, yes, we are losing the Warriors, but they're still in the same market. Yeah, but I want them in Oakland. V-Dub says, questions will be answers in the next couple of years. Donis, how are you doing? Donis says, hello. John Marks says, thank Jean Quan for losing the Warriors. Ding! Yep. It happened on her. She started it. Libby didn't stop it. All right? She could have. She could have filed an injunction. But Libby didn't. Let's keep that in mind. Between Mayor Kwan and Mayor Schaaf, they both did nothing to keep the Warriors. Just saying. M.L. Scott, Zinni, do you think all the NFL owners, minus Stephen Ross, are setting Mark Davis up for failure? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Rich Gilton says, Warriors are moving 10 miles away and keeping their downtown Oakland headquarters. Big difference with the Mark Davis line of Oakland politicals to get to Las Vegas. I will say this, all right, as a person who has fought to keep the Warriors in Oakland and really been a friend of the court to the people in the Mission Bay Alliance, I will say this. What the Warriors are building there is exciting. No question about it. It's just that as much as I try, it pains me just to give that credit. Save for one person. A person who was my client back in 1992. Ed Lee. That's right. The same person who's the mayor of San Francisco. And Ed Lee was aggressive and worked hard in economic development. And Ed Lee deserves a lot of credit for really getting the Warriors when no one thought he could. And they didn't take no for an answer. And what they did was really incredible. It really was, So now it's like Patrick says, the Warriors' new stadium will be a madhouse. All that traffic. What is this you wrote, Patrick? All that traffic there is a medical center there in Mission Bay. Yeah, it is. And let's see, does God forbid if there's a medical emergency? That was what the Mission Bay Alliance was saying, okay? That there was going to be this medical emergency. And then one court session I went to, I think the Warriors wanted to sell the stadium. I'll explain that later. All these comments are flying by. Let's say, if you want me to see your comment, you can purchase a super chat. And it'll get stuck right up there, and I can use it to buy, lunch. So, as Fernando has done. Thank you, Fernando. And let's see. Crawford says, do you think the NFL brass really wanted to keep the Chargers in San Diego and the Raiders in Oakland, but the owners had different plans? Well, yeah, the plan was for the San Diego Chargers to stay in San Diego, but what happened was that, remember the whole bond issue, they didn't win the ballot. And so Dean Spanos went to the NFL ownership hoping that someone would loan him some money, and they didn't. And so, out of fit of anger, he moved. And that was that. He moved to Los Angeles, knowing that moving to Los Angeles would block the Raiders out of LA. He knew that. Okay. He knew. Yeah.
My phone service is, I don't know what to push here.
Oh, I'll fix it. So I'm just gonna fix my phone here. Yeah, of course. So let's see here. Data. I'll be back, folks. Hold on a second. So it's like once you're saying it wasn't working, the service, or
I think somebody else has my email. I don't know.
your
I'm
email.
just trying to get my phone together. That's okay. Go ahead.
Wait. I got it. Here's the email there.
Cannot get mail. That's
Oh, this is the username and password is. That's weird. It keeps happening.
well, it never was fixed.
Well, I thought we had it fixed, but let me talk to you when I'm off the stream here. So, hold on a second.
I'm trying to get something all night long.
Well,
That's okay. Go
yeah,
ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. Okay. So anyway, sorry about that, folks. Anyway, let's see here. Marcus is a turncoat. All right, I'm back. Oh, let's see here. I think something really went by quickly. It was a question. What did Marcus Allen say about Vegas? Donis, Marcus said that he was supportive of Vegas. He acted basically like the whole Oakland issue never existed. That's what happened. And John Marks says, didn't Mayor Lee lose to the 49ers? No, it was San Francisco Mayor Gavin Newsom that did, not Ed Lee. And let's see here. Gabe Gillingston says, Kurt Morrison was trying to tell me there was more money in Vegas than Oakland. No, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. John Marcus is a turncoat, Donis. Battery Rising says, would the NFL prohibit a major casino from buying the naming rights? That is why I believe there is some possibility that casino money is involved in this already. Only the Raiders don't want anyone in the NFL to know it. Okay? And I believe that's what's happening. Let's see here. Go Cubs says, hi, Mom. Yeah. Miguel Rose says, Zinni, if both the Warriors and the Raiders do indeed leave Oakland, does that mean that the A's are going to leave too? No, I don't think that means that they're going to leave. But it means that we as a city have to do a better job of infrastructure negotiation, infrastructure planning. John Marks, could the Clippers move to Oakland if the Warriors leave for San Francisco? I'll ask the NBA. 831 Scott, I hope when the Warriors move to San Francisco, the atmosphere will still be the same. Rorical is one of the toughest places for a visiting team to play. It's electric in that place. Well, actually, the new arena is designed with the idea of maintaining that noise atmosphere in mind. Specifically designed for that. Now, everyone says hi, Mama. That's nice. Mr. Somerville says, Raider Nation is a fandom of the Raider organization, not of the city of Oakland. Marcus Allen isn't a turncoat for staying loyal to the Raiders outside of Oakland. But Jermaine, he just tried to keep the Raiders in Oakland. So what are you talking about? That's wrong. Excuse me. I completely disagree with you. Oakland, number one. Thanks, everybody, for saying hi to Mom. Thank you. NFL 2K says, in short, Oakland can only support one franchise. They chose the A's. Warriors and Raiders are walking. Actually, that's not true. The Raiders chose to walk. Both chose to walk. In fact, I remember early on when a number of fans didn't want Larry Ellison to buy the Warriors because the thought was if he buys the Warriors, he's going to move them out of San Francisco. So we got Lacob, and we cheered thinking he's going to keep them in Oakland, and that didn't happen. We didn't have owners that were committed to Oakland. It wasn't anything about the city, but Oakland has been plagued by people who are not committed to it. For whatever reason, and it's a beautiful city for those who've been there, but for whatever reason, it tends to breed people who don't love it and take care of it. And why that is, I mean, I could say I have a lot of theories that, well, one of my theories is basically that I think in a mostly white Bay Area, Oakland has always been seen as a black town, and and the media has pushed this undercurrent that Oakland is undesirable, okay? But then when we got a white mayor and Jerry Brown, all of a sudden Oakland was desirable again, and it was cool and it was hip. And that message has been sent over and over and over again. And I assert that dynamic has really played a large role in why Oakland does not have the boosters that an Atlanta has, or Chicago, or any other great city. Now, let's see here. Steve Collins says, Jermaine, we are the Oakland Raiders. I agree. I'm missing something here. Oh, Rich says, everyone knows NFL wants DraftKings legal in Las Vegas, hence the motive to push the Raiders into Las Vegas. So why does Goodell consistently state otherwise? What's the aim here? Well, it's the gambling issue, but something else, Rich. You have to remember, there's a lot of gaming companies are in the Bay Area and Silicon Valley. EA Sports, okay, among others. Zinni, why do you think Mark Davis wants to leave Oakland? I am told he has some deep personal issues with Oakland that have to do with how he grew up. And that's as much as I'm comfortable saying in this environment, okay? John Mark says, thanks, go Clubs. And I think Mr. Dr. 3 says, yeah, kind of like Washington toward the United States of America. And then we have New Eddie, who says, until the first game plays in Vegas, they're still the Oakland Raiders. Yes, absolutely. We have 46 watching now. Not bad. 47, excuse me. Miguel said, are you ready for some college football? I am. You just got out of the draft. I am ready for OTAs. B-Dub says they'll always be the Oakland Raiders to me. In fact, speaking of NFL news, let's go, and since we're talking about the Raiders, let's go and see what the latest NFL news is, okay? One moment, please. I'm going to go over to NFL and take a look at some transactions here. And all that good stuff. Hold on a second. Let's see what's happening on the NFL website. What time is it, by the way? It is approximately, time-wise, I'm checking this out. I'm going to move this over because the time is there. It is 1:14 a.m. and I will go to 1:30. Yeah, I'll go to 1:30. Let's see here. What's happening with Conley? Good question. Now, let me sign in. Go Notre Dame. John how you doing? Rich says, Mark Davis self-esteem issues aside, it's just not feasible. I missed that. Let me read this. This is interesting. Let me interesting. That was interesting. It's just not feasible that Al Davis could bury me in Oakland and move my team to Las Vegas. Saw that quote on Facebook and it fits. Corvette says, Miguel Rose, because he wants to be king of Las Vegas, the next Elvis. Boy, the bad. Oh, you guys make fun of poor Mark. Mark's a great guy. He's just making a bad decision. Mark Davis is a nice guy. He's making a bad decision. Okay? 831 Scott. Why is it that almost all the media says that Oakland didn't have a plan? Because they don't know how. The media, you have to understand, we're not talking about the investigative journalist types. We're talking about the PR regurgitating message types. The types that interview you and they let your word stand and they don't check your word. That's what we're talking about. Okay, it's a big difference. Now, let me see something here as far as the NFL information we're talking about. Um, NFL transactions. Oh, by the way, folks, hey, the NFL workout dates have been announced. One moment. The NFL program workout dates are announced. It says voluntary off-season workout programs are intended to provide training, teaching, and physical conditioning for players. Let me zoom in on this a bit. And the calendar for 2017 is per Article 20. Excuse me. Trying to enlarge this so I can see it. One more time. Zoom in. It's per Article 21 of the Collective Bargaining Agreement. Each club's official voluntary 9-week off-season program is conducted in 3 phases. Phase 1 consists of the first 2 weeks of the program with activities limited to strength and conditioning and physical rehabilitation only. Phase 2 consists of the next 3 weeks of the program. On-the-field workouts may include individual player instruction and drills. Phase 3 consists of the next 4 weeks of the program. Teams may conduct a total of 10 days of organized team practice activity, or OTAs. No live contact is permitted, but 7-on-7, 9-on-7, and 11-on-11 drills are permitted, okay? And then they control the articles and everything else. So here are the program dates. The Raiders' date for the OTAs is... I'm scrolling down here, and there are the Oakland Raiders, and it says Oakland. Thank you. It says first day, April 17th started. All right. OTA off-season workouts, May 20. You have a pen? You want to write this down? It's May. In fact, you know what? I'll copy this. OTA off-season workouts. I'll copy and paste it. Here are the dates for the Raiders. All right. And one moment. They are the dates right there. And boom, there you go. There you go. Those are the off-season workouts dates for the Raiders, okay? Now, any other team requests for dates? I've got them all here. I'll post them later on Zenny62. What are you guys talking about? Jesse Alvarez was... Oh, good. Glad you blocked it. Thank you. Thank you, Barry Lee. Moderators, you are awesome. Thank you. Joseph Jones, what happened to Zenny? I am here. I didn't go anywhere. Let's see here. And I was talking about, do you think the Vegas will fall through? Yes, I do. And was who cleared? You mean Gary and Conley? No. He was not cleared. What's the deal with Manning and the FBI investigation of fraud? Ooh. Didn't know about that. I'll look into it. Maniac says, I know the Raiders need a stadium, but for me it's about going to watch the product on the field, not to admire the stadium, because that's all that really matters in the end. Yeah, well, unless you go to the Super Bowl. I've been to 10 Super Bowls. Let me tell you something. Where the Super Bowl is played is a big deal. I just had to throw that in there, all right? Maniac says, I know, but the Raiders need a stadium. For me, it's all about... I think he said that, okay? And... Oh, Barry, what did you do? You blocked somebody's... What was it? A fake number for a song? Excuse me, was it like 8675309 Jenny? 8675309. 8675309. Hey, everybody, let's write 8675309. Just to tease Barry. 8675309. That's hilarious. Oh, my goodness. Oh, boy. Was that what it wasn't? Barry Lee says, no, it wasn't a cell number. Hey, Barry, whose number was it? I'm just kidding. Thank you. Thanks. John Mark says 8675309. That's hilarious. Unspoken Voices says the pundits get their marching orders from the owners and the NFL's ability to make more profit. Octavio Arias says Mark Davis number. Yeah, don't post Mr. Davis number. It had a call prefix. Okay, I got you. Thanks, Barry. Bad New Rising. Zenny, what would you estimate the percentage of Las Vegas deal falling through? I would say 50%, 60%. The politics. There are 12, and I think Mr. Brian was asking me about this. There are 12 different documents that have to be done. For example, now that the land has been purchased, the focus is on the land turnover document because the stadium authority has to own it. That's why I'm interested in who bought the land for the Raiders. Because the Raiders are allergic to spending that kind of money for the land. Okay? They really didn't want to do that. So something should be handled. Did the Raiders really spend that? Who gave them the money? Was it left over from Adelson? All right. And let's see here. Let's see here. Is 702 is Las Vegas area code. All right. Yeah, don't post numbers on here unless it's numbers like Ginny. Okay. Patrick says, do you think that Al had a fireside chat with you on your views on a stadium deal? Do you think he had one? Or are you talking about, yeah, whatever. Let's see here. I guess that's not for me. Maybe it's from somebody else. Crawford says, that was money left over from Irwindale. Ah, interesting. Word live. Now, let's see here. Move this over just one more. And, hey, how are you, John? Nice to see you. It's 1:22. I'm going to stop in 8 minutes, folks, and get ready. Got a big day tomorrow. John Mark says Irwindale neighbors. Irwindale Raiders, 1987. Crawford, Miguel wins. Miguel Rose says the real number that they should have posted was 1-800 get blocked. Henry Flores says, Zinni, will Sheldon Adelson do something like delay permits? I'm not convinced that Mr. Adelson is not involved in this deal. I think it should be investigated that he's lurking around. He'll collect call. John Santos, good insight on Big Man still being in the deal. Thank you, John. Thank you. Something is going on. I think he's... I hypothesize that Sheldon Adelson is the puppet master, you know? If he is the puppet master, then this deal's got a better chance of going through. If he's not, it'll fall. The politics will come through. Okay? UNLV paying rent, the Raiders not paying rent, is a bad political issue. It is. Okay, so I've got 7 minutes before I get off. I will say this, and I'll do some more investigating. 831 Scott says, I think you're right, Z. I think Sheldon Adelson is still involved. I think he took a back seat until the Raiders got the vote to move, and now he will come back into the deal. Slowly. Outspoken says also Jerry, too. But Jerry doesn't have that. See, Jerry and Adelson are friends, right? And it could have been Jerry Jones giving him the advice to say, hey, why don't you make it look like you're getting out? Why don't you engineer something just to get the owners off the backs of people, of you guys, all right? Scenario, Adelson buys land, builds new casino. Could happen. Patrick Blackman, has UNLV complained about this publicly? They've dropped hints over the course of time. You could look at the interactions. Things are not copacetic, all right? And Joseph says, I hope the new governor kills the deal. Ooh, I didn't think about that. Could the owners consider a revote? I'll ask. I will ask. Barry Lee says Tony Parker might be out for the rest of the season with leg injury. Wow. If true, what a devastating blow for the Spurs. Miguel Rose, can NFL ownership do a revote? I think you asked that before. And John Mark says, yes, I'm not so certain. I'll ask. Okay. Patrick M. Blackman says, I guess it'll be a matter of time before UNLV will start singing. But here's the thing, Patrick. They only have so much time. Because according to the Southern Nevada Tourism Infrastructure Act, if the 12 documents that I've referred to are not done by the 1st of September of 2018, then the entire project reverts to UNLV. So UNLV is in the driver's seat. They can delay, gum things up in a way of just, getting the Raiders out of the way, knowing that they will have control of the stadium situation if the Raiders miss the document deadlines. That's a powerful place to be. Okay? Okay? And don't think the Raiders don't know it. All right? So, could Vegas betting possibly prevent Raiders from going to Vegas? I have to investigate that. Harper says Nevada is blue. It could be trouble for SB1. Yes, because last year it was red. John Marks. Yes, UNSLV needs to do this, and they could. Patrick says, so it's best to keep quiet? I don't think they're keeping quiet behind the scenes. You have to remember that there isn't much media anymore other than this, There's a lot of tweets, but there's not a lot of media. Jordan Yancey says, I hope Oakland takes the Clippers. This is a Laker town. And Spoken Voices says, Zinni, so the NFL can approve the move before the paperwork is done? Yep. They did in this case. They did it for some strange reason having to do with an open ballot and politics and Jerry Jones and a dislike for the way the mayor of Oakland handled things. John Mark says, we would love the Oakland Clippers. I like the idea of that. John Santos, new spot picked for A's, not current location. Could NFL jump back in from the Oakland land? They could. That could happen. Rich says, Clippers are moving to Inglewood through the Rams. That stadium is not designed for basketball. So I can't see that happening. That's not happening. Barry Lee, isn't the Clippers lease up soon on Staples Center? Barry, I don't know. I'll investigate that. Hey, it's 1:27, folks. I'm going to begin to say good night. Oh, John, you want to see Dave Cavall? Yeah, I'll work on that. I will work on that. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you all so much. This has been fantastic. Tomorrow night I'll be back Thursday night for the, barring any interesting guests, last show for this week. And, no, you the man. You the man. You all. You are the greatest. You all are fantastic. And please retweet this, put it on your Facebook page, spread it around, put a photograph up on Instagram with a link, put it out on Reddit, spread it around, share it, share it, share it. You all are the folks. And I'm going to work and dig and get some more info for you. Good night, everybody. Good night, Zinsters. You guys are fantastic. Remember, Warriors game tomorrow. So we'll be on a little bit later, but the Warriors are playing tomorrow. We should come away seeing the Warriors up 2-0. But you know what? Those Utah people can be pesky. And they would be a little bit mad that we made fun of, or the Warriors made fun of the lack of nightlife, even though they're not going there just yet. Good night, everybody. We do need a lot on this show. Good night, everybody. Good night. And I'll try to get, yes, go Cubs, I will try. I will try. And, I hold these Bad Moon Rising. My schedule for these is Sunday night through Thursday night, generally between 8 o'clock and 9:30 Pacific, which is 11 o'clock to 12:30 Eastern. Okay, that's the general range. I have special times for guests, and I do a lot of morning shows and multiple live streams during the day. I'm trying to do more of those, all right? I'm going to do one tomorrow, okay? So, I'll see everybody. It's 1:29, and I'm about to sign off. Good night, everybody. Good night, and good luck. And thank you.